All right, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you all to the AB 617 Chapter Steering Committee meeting. My name is Jessica Silva, and I'm joined by my team members, Gabby Magaña and Dr. Amy Ramos. It's my privilege and pleasure to be the lead facilitator for the chapter community moving forward. We all look forward to getting to know more about you and to support you in cultivating an environment that is transparent, productive, and guided by the community's input. After housekeeping and welcoming remarks from the Air District, Harder and Company will be sharing more about our role as facilitators and our approach. After the brief organizational introduction, we are going to turn it over to you and just provide the space for you all to share about yourselves. Okay, so before we get started, please mute yourself and make sure your full name and organization are showing on your screen. To change your screen name, click on the top right side of your picture. CSC members, please use the following naming convention: CSC first last. If you're a resident, R first and last. We ask that all other participants put their first and last name and their affiliation. So AD for Air District, CARB for the California Air Resources Board staff, P for the general public, and all others, you can write your org name after your name. Our team at Harder and Company might change your name for attendance keeping purposes. Okay, and I will pass it over to Mari to review this slide with everyone.
Hola, muy buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la reunión de hoy. Para que ustedes puedan entrar al canal de español, simplemente busque el logotipo del mundo que dice Interpretation. Ahí va a querer seleccionar el idioma español y luego también va a querer seleccionar el botón que dice Mute Original Audio y eso significa silenciar el audio original. En caso de que tengan algún problema técnico a través de Zoom, tenemos la línea telefónica aquí en la pantalla, que viene siendo el número de teléfono 844-867-6169 y el código de acceso es el 6279-853 y tecla o el signo de número. En este momento, ¿alguna persona tiene algún problema o tiene una pregunta? Ok, no escucho nada, entonces podemos seguir. Thank you.
Thank you, Maricela. For all other folks, please, in your Zoom controls, click the interpretation, which is the globe down at the bottom of your screen. Click on the language that you would like to hear. So you would probably select English, and in order to hear the back translation, mute your original audio. If you have any questions during the meeting regarding the interpretation, please go ahead and message either Amy Ramos or Gabby Magaña. Okay. Virtual meeting etiquette. Please stay on mute unless you are speaking or planning to speak. For those people who are currently on the phone, use *6. Please raise your blue Zoom hand to ask questions during a presentation Q&A. And for that, you will be using *9 if you're participating by phone. Residents who are in the stipend program should stay for at least 75% of the meeting to be eligible for a stipend. So that means please stay with us for 90 minutes out of this meeting. Okay, and here are the group agreements that the CSC had previously agreed to. The productive discussion and respectful dialogue. To help achieve the meeting goals, we ask that we all focus on solutions, opportunities, and productive dialogue. Let everyone participate, step up and then step back, be civil and respectful. It's okay to disagree, but please be respectful, empathetic, and civil. Stay on point and on time. Please keep comments brief and to the point. This will allow enough time for everyone to participate. attack the problem, not the person. Respectfully challenge ideas or outcomes, never attack the person. Honor every person's humanity and dignity. Seek common ground. Build consensus, and finding shared values will help achieve the best results. And again, these are agreements that the team, the CSC had already agreed to. If you all feel that these need to change at any time, just let the Air District and Harder and Company know, and we can definitely work on those group agreements that might meet your needs better. Okay, just briefly reviewing the agenda. 5 p.m., which is what we're doing now. Welcome, and we're going to introduce the new facilitators at Harder and Company. At 5:45, we'll be doing the annual report review. 6:15, standing updates. 6:45, wrap up, next steps. And at 6:55, we will be doing public comments. Okay. And for public comment, just a reminder, public attendees on Zoom, please raise your blue hand to ask questions or make a comment. Press *9 from your phone if you're calling in by phone, or you can just type your comment in the chat. Public attendees that are on Facebook at Valley Air, or you can email ab617@valleyair.org. That's ab617@valleyair.org. Okay, public attendees may visit the YouTube channel, youtube.com/healthyairliving. All right, so I'm Jessica from Harder and Company, and we are very excited to have everyone here today and to be here sharing everybody's space. So I would like to introduce our team once more. My name again is Jessica Silva. I am a data collection assistant at Harder and Company. And I am here with Gabi Magaña and Dr. Amy Ramos. And I will pass it on to Gabi to briefly introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabi Magaña, and I'm looking forward to supporting your community's CSC meetings on a monthly basis, and looking forward to getting to know you all a little bit more. And I'll pass it on to my colleague, Dr. Amy Ramos.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes. Before I get started, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear. So I've just received the chat that some of you in the Spanish channel cannot hear very well, that the interpreter is speaking in a very low or softly. So if you could make sure that that is working. If it is not, please do feel free to ping us on the chat and we will troubleshoot that momentarily. So good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Dr. Amy Ramos, and I've been in the AB617 space for a couple of years now. I've been working in a couple other communities and helping coordinate some statewide issues or statewide projects in collaboration with CARB. I'm really excited to be able to be here tonight to help bring the human rights lens to our facilitation approach. So you will see us appear in these meetings as neutral facilitators, as ones that allow you all to have the space that you all deserve and are entitled to with AB617. So you'll hear more about us and our approach as we provide an introduction later in today's presentation.
All right, thank you, Amy. This next slide that I'm going to present is similar to one that a lot of people saw during our presentation when we originally interviewed for the CSC facilitation in August. So we know that not everyone was able to attend that meeting, and we want to bring this slide back and just highlight a few of the guiding principles that we talked about then, that we hold in our approach at Harder and Company. So the first is that we center community voices, in our work. So And then we believe that equity is central to social change. We anticipate working closely with community members to solidify our roles as facilitators and to ensure that we are supporting the group and not hindering your process. Centering community voice is a crucial part of the equity-oriented framework that guides all of our work at Harder & Company. It's essential to providing individualized support. In a few minutes, we are going to engage everyone in conversation about how we at Harder & Company can have a successful transition as your facilitators. We hope to hear in your own words what has worked well from previous facilitation and how we can adapt it to meet your needs and expectations. It's important for us that your input helps shape our role as facilitators so that we can contribute to creating a space and environment that is conducive to meeting your goals. So that's your Serp goals, your other goals in the community. And in order to do that, we're briefly going to review the role of the facilitator per the charter. And I'm going to start with Amy, and she'll be starting us off here.
Thank you, everyone.
Amy, I'm sorry, before we get started, I am also hearing, I did mute the original audio as well, and I am hearing 2 channels. So the interpreter, if you can please make sure that either you have the headphones when you're listening to the English portion of this so that we don't hear both options. I think that might be what's happening is the interpreter is actually listening to the English, just to the regular meeting, and we're having that feedback. So if the interpreter can please do so, please. And then I think that might be able to help. And if we can just test it a few times, just to make sure that we're good to go from there.
Hi, so this is Emilia. Currently we have Jose as our interpreter. I'm not hearing anything on the Spanish channel. I've been listening to him and I haven't heard any feedback, though. If you could explain what's going on, maybe I could troubleshoot real quick.
Yeah, Bianca, can you let us know? I think Bianca is hearing an echo in the Spanish channel.
Yes, I'm also here with the ladies in chapter, and I'm hearing a double, like an echo in English. Right now, I think they muted it, but earlier I was hearing double echo.
Oh, okay, so then the audio was muted or it was unmuted?
The audio was muted. I actually set up the interpretation for them, so the audio was muted, but the problem was that the interpreter had the English version in high voice, so we were hearing a double echo. It's not coming from the residents, it's coming from the interpreter.
Oh, got it. Okay, so then if we could just check on that really quickly with the residents and see if they're still hearing that echo as I'm talking. That way, I'm sure Jose Luis is still interpreting, so if they could just let us know if they're still hearing that echo or how the interpretation sounds, and that way we can make sure that we're getting off. If not, we can log off and come back in or switch roles, whatever works.
I am also hearing it, Emilia, so we might need to log off and restart again. I apologize.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then I think.
So we should have Jose Luis log off and have him call back in. Is that right, Marisela?
Yes, so Jose Luis will do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you could all bear with us for one moment as we investigate these technology issues. And while we're pausing, want to make sure that everyone is in a safe space. I know that the winds are pretty vigorous where you're at. And so I've been notified that some people may be losing power. So we might have more than one technical issue tonight.
So it looks like Jose Luis is back. Can everybody hear him? Are we still hearing the echo?
I don't hear the echo anymore. We're good. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience.
Yes, of course. Thank you all so much for working together to fix that so quickly. So as we were saying, because this is the first time that you all have a new facilitator, we want to make sure that we not only introduce ourselves as individuals, but tell you a little bit about what makes us unique and how we will be approaching facilitation for your CSCs. So as part of our role, we've looked at your charter and your current governance structure that you've proposed. And we've highlighted three items that align to what you expect out of a facilitator. So we will be hearing, we will be sharing with you how we will articulate those interpretations. And we still have an echo, says Bianca.
That's correct.
Is it from me when I'm talking, or is it from in the Spanish? Maricela, do you hear it?
Sorry, I was in the channel, and yes, you could still hear it. At the very beginning, it was okay, and then it just gradually got where you can hear both of them.
Okay, and it's in the English or in the?
It's in the Spanish. You can hear a very like faint English in the background.
Okay, I just logged off from a different account that we had on. So let's see if that's maybe what's causing the issue.
Okay, so this is testing 1, 2, 3, testing. Can you hear an echo? Please let us know.
¿Puedes seguir hablando, José Luis, por favor? And then if somebody in the English can also at the same time as he's doing it, so we can confirm.
Yeah, does he have, I feel like I even heard a Spanish right now.
I also heard it, yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, I hear you. Jose Luis, you have both audios on at the same time. And now I can hear you talking in Spanish and in English. So you will need to change that setup so that we get, if I'm in the English, I should only hear English.
No, there shouldn't be anybody in the English channel. We don't use that function for the meetings because when you go into the English channel, then you start to not hear people because then you mute the audio and everybody in the original channel can't hear you. It's a whole mess with interpretation sometimes. But I think that as I'm speaking, I'm pretty sure Jose has been interpreting. So can you still hear that echo? Or should we maybe change something up a bit? We definitely don't want this to persist the whole meeting.
It's gotten better for me.
I can no longer hear Jose Luis interpreting. Okay, it got better.
Okay, so then if you're okay, I would suggest maybe let's run for like the next 3 minutes, just continue on. And if it persists, then we'll stop. And then at this point, maybe I could try going into the interpretation channel and I can do the interpreting and we'll see if that fixes any issues as well.
That sounds perfect. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you everybody for your patience. So Amy, go ahead.
Thank you, Jessica, and thanks everyone. So as I was saying, we want to make sure that you know us on a personal level and know how we approach facilitation, but also know how we've already looked at your governance structure and made sure that we can meet the needs of this CSC by expressing how we will show up and how it aligns to your governance structure. So one of the items that we have here is moderating the steering committee meetings and for helping the committee reach consensus on issues. So we see that as being able to develop inclusive processes that ensure all voices are heard. This troubleshooting with technology is one great example, right? Pausing the process and ensure that everyone is brought along and not just continuing through and powering through the conversation. We will have meetings with the Air District one-on-one. We might have meetings with community members or EJ folks and the like. We don't have a stake in the outcome. We expect conflict and we plan to mitigate those issues. As a team who's helped develop the People's Blueprint for AB 617, we've heard directly from many environmental justice folks about what's missing in the CSC process. So you will see us make some recommendations to the air district, some recommendations for your process, and we will work together collaboratively to ensure that nothing is missing in how we show up to help allow everyone who is here to have an equal voice at the table. With that said, I'm going to pass it to Gabby, but before Gabby, I just want to make sure that everything is good. If I can get a thumbs up, Marisela, if you can hear clearly.
I saw a nod from Marisela, so I think we're good. Thanks, Amy. So to continue on with that, as stated by your charter, the other portion of our role is really to support the CSC and overall organization, order, and focus of the meeting, to help resolve conflicts and to help reach consensus to ensure that the goals and the objectives of the charter are met. So the way we plan to operationalize this is by helping to identify conflict and reflect back some of what we're hearing in these meetings. We understand that folks are not always able to reach consensus or agree on something, and so really thinking about how we help move things along. So identifying, alternate spaces when needed to move to action. In addition, sort of around our role in moderating the meeting, we'll try to follow a tight schedule just to ensure that everyone has the ability to participate during the allotted time and, a voice to be able to share their thoughts as well. And then we'll also make sure that we're capturing action items just to make sure that there's opportunity to hold all parties accountable to what folks are agreeing about in these meetings together. And then, of course, we want folks to be treated with respect, to feel like we're here to listen to them and that we value everybody's opinion, no matter what that is. And of course, just to let everybody know that we're always open to feedback and we want to hear directly from you and know if there's anything that we've missed during these meetings or any way that we can improve this facilitation for you all. So Jess will share a little bit more later on about how you can contact us to provide ongoing feedback as well. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Jess.
Thank you, Gabby. So the last part of the facilitator's role from the charter is to provide reasonable efforts to capture all perspectives that were expressed in meeting minutes, committee documents, and related reports, including the final Serp. So we understand that there are CSC members and residents from all walks of life on here, and in order to have meaningful and productive conversations, it's going to be essential that we acknowledge each other's perspectives. And as facilitators, we want to make sure that everyone feels heard, and we understand that not everybody feels comfortable turning on their mic. Not everybody feels comfortable turning on their camera. So we are more than happy to take your comments in the chat. If you want to email us, we want to make your voice heard to all of the other residents in Shafter. And as you all know, also, the Serp is a living document, so we definitely want to get your input on all of that if there are any changes that the committee really wants, and to make it sure that it's documented in a transparent and easily digestible way. Again, it's from people from all different walks of life, so we don't all have the same knowledge of all of these technical terms that are thrown at us sometimes. So again, back to what Gabby was saying, is we really encourage everyone here to provide feedback to both the Air District and Harder and Company. If you feel that we're not being the facilitators that your charter states, and also if you feel that the information that we provided today is misinterpreting your charter in any way, please feel free to bring that up to us as well, especially now during the very first meeting. Because we are going to take these principles and kind of run with those and bring you along with us. So please feel free to do that. And thank you for that. And next, we have a few guiding questions for everyone. So this is the part where we want to hear from you. I will put the questions up so everybody can kind of just take a second to look at those while I read them out. What will a successful transition look like? What challenges might we encounter in the transition? What lessons learned from previous facilitators help inform our engagement? How will you define success? What are you looking for in a facilitator? And everybody feel free to just take those questions in. And we will pause briefly for people to think. And again, if anyone feels comfortable, please raise your hand or you can just throw a message in the chat. If that's how you prefer to engage initially.
So as we said, we might introduce new processes, but you might already know that there's some things that you don't want to change that are working well. Is there something that you want to make sure that does not get changed because it's working well for your own community? We'd like to know that as well.
Okay, Gus, I see that you raised your hands.
Yeah, maybe this is a little bit off topic on this, but I think like one of the things that really has worked in, I think, in facilitating were and have been the subcommunity or like the subcommittee meetings that were like on the air monitoring, pesticides. I think those were very useful. And if we find some like purposeful time to help facilitate those or bring those back to light, I think that would be useful. Doesn't 100% align to this or pertain to this, but I think it's still useful.
And just to confirm, was the last facilitator also helping facilitate during those subcommittee meetings? I just wanted to clarify.
I believe so, right? I believe there was some note taking or some sharing of those notes back to the steering committee or the general steering committee meetings. So yeah, I think the folks at the air district though are experts at that.
Is there anyone else on this call that found that helpful or not helpful?
Justin, I see a comment in the chat from Annabelle. We want the facilitator to have a clear, transparency, and understandable.
And again, just to clarify, when you say transparency, is it, for example, things that we do beforehand to prepare for meetings, or is it being really transparent during the meetings? Is it being inclusive and engaging everyone in the process, kind of like in those agenda setting meetings? What does transparency look like to you? How would you, how would you describe it to us? Okay, well, okay, before advancing to any other items in the agenda to make sure everyone understands them. Okay. That's a really good one, right? Because sometimes we have, sorry, I believe someone was unmuting themselves. Okay, because sometimes we fail to have a shared understanding of, again, terminology of next steps. And I feel like that's what Felipa here is saying, to make sure everyone is on the same page with even moving forward, right? Maybe some people are still want to table the discussion, and maybe some people are ready to move on. So I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong at any time, of course. But that's kind of like what I'm hearing. Anyone else agree or disagree? Shake your hand, shake your head, no, yes. I'm trying to look at everybody on the camera to see if anyone else looks like they're about to say something. So I wanted to see, how will you define success? So let's not think long term to like 10 months down the line. Let's kind of bring it back a little bit and say, for the rest of the year, what will a successful facilitation look like to you? So we're talking about November, December meetings. And I do see collaboration with the facilitator and the residents. Okay, I see your comment, Socorro. And is that collaboration that you want to see again, as we're preparing for meetings, to engage everyone in them? Or what does that look like to you?
Sometimes it's easier to think about the things that you don't like. So what are some of the things that you don't want to see us repeat or avoid that maybe the previous facilitator did, or that you don't find are inclusive processes? What are some of the things that you want to make sure that we avoid as we continue to engage? Gus?
Yeah, well, I'll say that we've definitely came a long way since the very first meeting of AB 617. And that's like, very positive, in a very positive aspect. We've all grown, collectively as a steering committee members. And so I think, just keeping that really centric energy of uplifting, voices, and really creating space, right, for those folks that often don't, tend to speak at every meeting like myself, right? And to really cultivating and creating that space. I think that's something that we can maybe strive for. And I might not be the best person to like generate those new ideas, but yeah, I think really cultivating and creating a space for those folks, by purposefully opening up like the Spanish line, and giving opportunity for anyone to jump in, right? And being okay with silence for a bit as folks get comfortable. So I think that has been something that's worked. And I've seen, from day one to day, whatever this is, so yeah, I think just aligning and keeping those, really uplifting voices, and cultivating that space, and then aligning it, to making it focus to the conversations and missions that we have, at hand. So just some thoughts.
And there is another message in the chats that the last facilitator would just want to move along and not acknowledge residents' comments. Sorry, that changed there on me. Did I finish reading it? Yes. And so I can see why that would be important to everybody. Obviously, to feel heard. This is your space, this is your meeting. So if that's not happening, I can see why you guys would be asking for that now. And I mean, I know we already went over kind of our approach to the work, and I'm personally really happy that, you know, the few people that have spoken up so far are speaking up so freely and letting us know exactly what it is that you have experienced in the past, and that you're sharing that and being comfortable and trusting us to kind of, I mean, on some level, to really kind of take those comments and be actionable, right? And that's a big thing that we've also been hearing. It's kind of like to take something and actually do something about it. And of course, we can't do that without everyone here, because again, this is your space, and we want to, you know, provide you that that information and that ability to, you know, be able to speak up in your own meetings. So I know we still have these 4 questions up. Does anybody else have anything to add? Again, you are more than welcome to just throw in the chat if you're not comfortable unmuting. Okay, so if anybody does want these questions and they prefer to answer them via email, just let us know and we can send you those questions. So now we're again bringing it back to you. What questions do you have for the facilitators? All right, let me just go and look at everybody's faces to make sure that nobody is trying to talk and accidentally, okay, on mute. All right, so I don't see any questions. Again, we do encourage everybody to just reach out if you do have any questions at any time. And let's go to, all right. So thank you so much for listening to us talk about ourselves. And thank you for all of those folks that did participate. Again, this is my number, and you can email shafter_AB617_facilitator@harderco.com with any questions. And again, if you want those 4 questions that we brought up earlier, you are more than welcome to email us and ask us for those if you want to chat further about that. All right, and with that, I am going to hand it off to Ryan to talk about the 2021 draft Serp annual reports.
Let me see, make sure I'm unmuted. Thank you so much, Jessica, Gabby, and Dr. Ramos. It's great to have you. We really appreciate your efforts to engage with the community and looking for ways that we can continue to communicate and work on this program with the community and all the community members to continue to advance the important work of the community emissions reduction program in Shafter. So let me pull up. I got a lot of windows open, so I apologize, and make sure I'm zoomed all the way in. So kind of going back to last year, there's an annual report that is required as part of the requirements of AB 617. And so last year, about a month and a half before it was due, well, we brought the draft to the steering committee to get their feedback on the annual report, and then we subsequently made amendments to it, took the feedback that we received and incorporated it and put it into the final version of the annual report, which was then taken to our governing board and then given to the California Air Resources Board. And so it's that time of year again. There's been a lot of work and many meetings, and we just really appreciate the continued commitment that all the chapter steering committee members have continued to show in working with us, and coming up with new and innovative ideas on how to get clean air measures in place in the chapter community, and a lot of the in addition to some of the programs that we talked about, gearing it more towards a lot of the resident measures that impact all of you directly. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and bring up the annual report. And this is really just me kind of walking everybody through what is in the report. And I'm going to kind of, as we like to do, kind of bring it all the way back to our homepage and walk everybody through where they can find it. The document itself was provided both in English and in Spanish to the community steering committee members. And so hopefully everybody gets an opportunity over these next few weeks to go through the document and see what information's in there. But I'll cover at a real high level the information that's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. It's always one of those nervous things. You want to make sure you pull up the right screen. I got a few. So at this point, everybody should see the district's home screen. And it looks like that's correct. So if you go down to here where it says AB 617 and you click on this, it takes you to the AB 617 homepage. And so there's a community page for everybody. Arvin, Lamont, Stockton, this community in South Central Fresno. Just always like to remind people, if you go here, if you click this button up here, it says language. You can change this into a different language to help you as you browse these web pages. But if you go to the chapter community page, you'll see on the right-hand side where we have reports. And so this is where the draft version of the annual report is residing. So it's this document right here. And there's a couple of different parts of the annual report. There's also the enforcement report, which is also a piece of that annual report that gets sent off. So I know it's going to be very, very hard. And so this is, like, once again, just to kind of go over at a high level what's in the document itself. And so it's got the executive summary. It talks about what the district has done, all the work that the community steering committee has done over the last year, the engagement process, what we've done in the meetings. It kind of gives a background and the purpose of the AB 617 program, talks about your community, has the map of the boundary as well as the 7-mile radius around it of sources that impact the community. It has some of the information that was used by ourselves, the Air District, as well as the California Air Resources Board when selecting a lot of the challenges that the community members face, the health-based metrics that feed into the screening tool that was used. This is the part, we're here tonight. This is the community engagement. This is the real work of the program in implementing 51 measures that are included as part of the community emissions reduction program for the Shafter community. We have 24 community members. We had 35 meetings to date. These are the expected emissions reductions as a result of all the measures. We talk about, the transitioning to a virtual environment, what we did to do that, and what it took for all of you to continue to stay engaged and be able to participate in this process. We highlight the new facilitator selection, and I know when during last month's meeting, definitely recognized all the steering committee's time and efforts in that endeavor, because out of the 4 communities, Chapter, I think, was the most representative in the both the interviewing process and the responses. And so just a huge level of gratitude for all of you for participating in that, and providing input into the selection of our new and great facilitation team that's helping us out moving forward. The ongoing pandemic and the work that we've done, talked about the community participation in the resident stipend program, the forms that are used for that. The community missions inventory and the ongoing work that we do there. So on our main webpage, I know if everybody kind of goes way back, we looked at the missions inventories for all the sources that were within the boundary and then within that expanded 7-mile radius. And we talked about where the emissions were coming from, and the community steering committee members put a lot of thought and effort into ideas and strategies on how to reduce the emissions from those sources, and that's generated from the assessment of the sources. We do update this, and so that information is updated about on an annual basis to the website with that information, and there's a link to that. The community air monitoring, this committee played a huge part in continuing to regularly provide us areas that we needed to continue to be looking at, and types of pollution that we need to be looking at, and providing us that feedback, and also how we can do better at presenting that information to the community, and really explaining the importance of the data that's being collected. As we mentioned, right now we've almost fully deployed the air monitoring network. We're still working very hard on the last location, which is in La Colonia. And I know we kind of put it out there, if anybody knows of anybody that would be interested in housing that, to please let us know. But it talks about the different pollutants that are being monitored. It talks about the California Air Resources Board's website that they are also maintaining, but at the same time, the district also maintains your own community air monitoring webpage that lists near real-time air quality data, as well as some of the kind of breaking down the individual types of pollutants that are being detected in that area. We provide weekly updates to the steering committee, and showing what the data is being collected and is showing to everybody. We have the compliance and enforcement measures where we do report back. So 2 months ago, Jennifer Lettergerber, who was the compliance manager from Bakersfield, came and presented and talked about the different enforcement measures. In addition to the district, the California Air Resources Board also had enforcement staff that also talked about their additional enforcement as part of the community emissions reduction program. And so in here we have the tables with the individual measures, and it talks about the time and effort and what's been found in this. This is at a higher level. The enforcement report that I talked about breaks down what these violations were and the inspections that were completed. So the regulatory work, and I know this is something that we've heard is very important to communities, not only through incentive measures, but also looking at existing rules and regulations and what else can be done to reduce emissions from stationary sources, and then the California Resources Board as well are working, consistently working on ways to address pollution from sources under their jurisdiction as well. And so, one of the things, so on September 23rd was the last, we'd sent out a notice to the steering committee about the workshop that we held last Thursday, which is, it's an important one. It's the oil and gas regulations that we're currently in the process of working on. And so if you weren't able to attend last week's meeting, there will be future workshops. So just be aware of that. And if you see that meeting invite come or the workshop invite and you're interested, please take that opportunity to participate. And that's these rules right here. So if you're looking at this page, it's these rules right here were the ones that we talked about last week. So there's a lot of other work that is being done. And then we've provided updates on land use measures that are happening in the community. There's also the work that we're, we have our partners with both the California Resources Board as well as the Department of Pesticide Regulations that are continuing to work on the pesticide measures that were included in the Community Emission Reduction Program, which included ways to mitigate and reduce the emissions from use of pesticides, as well as a pesticide notification measure. Gives an update on that. And then Heather's going to talk about this a little bit more, but the incentive measures, the work that we're doing to get the funds out to the community to make clean air investments in equipment that are going to have near zero or zero, hopefully zero emissions from them. We have some good news on an outreach event that we're planning next month, and hopefully that goes amazingly. And it could be definitely something that we could use as the model for not only this community, but other communities across the valley. And so this just gives an update on where we are at with what funding was allocated or put to the individual incentive measures and how much has been spent and what the emission reductions achieved so far or will be achieved through the spending of those funds. And so that's these pages. A lot of work to be done. A lot of work has been done. The outreach and mitigation measures, and I think this is one of the really innovative things, is pushing not only the Air District, but everybody involved, the community members. Like, how can we all work together? How can we get messages out there, get people to take advantage, make lifestyle changes for the improvement of everybody's health? And like, what tools are available to help in those efforts? What tools can be developed to help in those efforts? And just really the idea driving concepts behind this program as a whole. One of the things that we heard about is like finding ways to talk about the programs that are available to people and how they can take advantage. And so we had a fun Friday night live event, and I know we had some raffles, and we have some winners that are on here tonight. And finding more ways to do those types of things is really important. We talked about the free solar program that's available to residents in the Chapter community. And we're excited about the electric lawnmower for residents. And just some of the other programs. So it's not only the district programs, but it's also other programs that are available to residents in Chapter and Kern County. Like I talked about the solar, and then this one as well for energy efficiency. And so we talk about what our efforts have been and what work we've done with the Community Steering Committee to meet those goals. And so the metrics for tracking the progress is definitely something that we heard, and we're continuing to ask for more feedback. And I know we've shown several times, and Heather will show it after this, or talk a little bit about the we call it the Serp tracker. It's more simple and streamlined than this, but we're looking to kind of take that and make it so that it's more easily understandable through just kind of more picture-based, and try to make it more simple for everybody to understand. We've heard that the measure tracker right now is a little can be confusing, and so we're definitely looking to take that feedback to improve that product for the steering committee and the residents of the area. We talk about the health impacts of local air pollution, and that's the overall draft report. And then for the annual enforcement report, if everybody remembers, it's composed of a couple of different things. It's it lists all of the permitted facilities, and this is just permitted with the air district. This is not permitted with the state or anybody else, just who the district has. We refer to these as stationary sources of air pollution, which is what we have the regulatory authority over. These are businesses that the emissions are generated from stationary sources. Facilities have to get permits with us. We have to do reviews. They have to submit applications. We do reviews on these different operations to make sure that they're using the latest emissions control equipment and the cleanest equipment possible. We have a listing of all the inspections.
Ryan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just doing a quick time check. We did allot 15 minutes for the presentation and then 15 minutes for Q&A.
Okay.
I just wanted to give you a heads up. So
Appreciate it, Jess. I'm like probably 2 minutes left.
okay, thank you.
So this one includes the inspections that were performed and the type of inspection that was performed. The complaints that we responded to within the boundary and the 7-mile radius. And then this is a listing of the violations that we observed within the community and we took enforcement action for. And that's it. So I'll be happy to answer anybody's questions.
All right.
Less than 2 minutes.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, please.
I did want to go back to a comment that Bianca put earlier, and I'm just going to do these in order. And I know Gus also had his hand up. So the first question by Bianca in the chat, is the Air District going to need any resident to report back to CARB? And Bianca, if you want to elaborate on your question, please unmute yourself.
Yes, last year they had Gustavo Jr. to report back to CARB. So I was wondering if the Air District is going to need somebody or a resident to report back to CARB when they send this report out.
Yeah, I think we have a representative from CARB that could probably.
Yeah, this is Scott, and I'm not really sure specifically, Bianca, what you're referring to as far as Gus reporting back to CARB, but we don't typically have any official report back process as it relates to the annual reports. So I'm guessing that if there was some type of report back that Gustavo did to CARB, it was not directly related to the annual report is the only thing that I can think of, but would also maybe ask Gus to chime in if he recalls what that report back was.
Or I'm maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's from the maybe it's just me thinking back when the Serp was approved. But just in case, can residents give public comment later on if they don't agree with the annual report?
Well, I mean, that's where we're taking feedback right now, Bianca, so that we can work together on this report. So looking at, and Bianca, feel free to send me the specific, I'm looking at pages 49 and 50, and I'm not quite sure which ones individual measures you're talking about that we report out as being completed.
The school filtration. I saw a piece on the school filtration, and yet there's no actual completed item. And I was wondering if you're gonna go back and make sure it's completed before adding it to the annual report, or is just gonna be reported what's happening down at the moment.
Exactly, it's where we are right now. So I mean, the way that we talk about it is not that it's done. You know, we definitely don't talk about things that are being completed when they're not. We talk about the work that we've done in working with the CSC as well as the school district, and you know, kind of where we left it at is all the school districts are kind of evaluating their systems. The schools throughout the state got you know, considerable funding through the CARES Act to help them, and you know, a lot of them are using the funds to update HVAC systems. So we definitely, when we're talking about this, it's not in terms of that the work is completed.
Bianca, did that answer your question?
Yes, but I'll go back with Ryan to see if we could work on that piece.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then Gus, you did have your hand up. Do you still have a question?
I still have a question, Jessica. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was trying to go in order because Gus had his hand up earlier, but go ahead.
I did have a question in regard, well, it's a comment in regard to the notification. I know that the Air District has been kind of facilitating that conversation with the ag commissioner to make the process happen, but I still haven't seen anything come out as the Air District. I do remember that Samir in one public meeting did mention that he was going to send a letter recommendation to make this notification possible. Until this day, we have not seen the letter of support, and that happened a couple months ago. In that piece, I do not hold the Air District accountable for not completing that item, and I wanted to see where can that conversation start off again.
Yeah, I don't, you'll have to, was it in a steering committee meeting, Bianca?
It was in a CVAC meeting, and I believe you were there too.
Okay, I'll go back and discuss that. I don't remember the specifics. Yeah,
I could follow up with you on the date too.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, I think, you know, I did see the chat, you know, that there's no positive outcome on the pesticide work, and I hope that is not the view of all the community steering committee members. I understand the desires of the steering committee members, and definitely heard it, you know, shared with, you know, at our board meetings, as well as at the California Resources Board board meetings, the disappointment that we aren't further along. But as you know, Karen Henderson talked about, I'm sorry, not Karen Henderson, Karen Morrison at the last community steering committee meeting talked about the work that the steering committee was the foundation that the statewide notification resulted in. So I mean, there's been huge importance to the work that this steering committee has done. That's not to say that we're going to stop the work and trying to continue to you know, fully implement all of the measures in the chapter community emissions reduction program, but there's the work that was done here is continuing to you know, pave the way for what's happening at a much larger scale. So I mean, granted, we understand that what was put in the community emission reduction program has not to date been implemented. completely a portion, the notification portion, at least the other ones we are making good headway on. So thanks.
Any other questions or comments on this item?
Yeah, this is good.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you for that overview, Ryan. And that's the overview in the rough like annual report for AB 617. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any way you could share page 6, please? Just for reference, I want to revisit that real quick.
Are you talking about the table, Gus?
It was, yeah, I think it was a composition of like the cumulative.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. You see it, Gus?
Yeah, maybe go down one page.
The next page?
Yeah, I thought, oh, there we go. There, the chapter that legend to the right. So that on the emissions reductions, this is what, just as a summary, the emissions reduction numbers that we're seeing here is if all the strategies in the Serp were to be implemented.
Correct. That's not where we are today.
Okay, and given like the fact that there's been some funding that has gone to strategies, is there any like presentable data that could be shared? Like this is how much we've captured from the total, right? If it's like 51 measures, how much have we adopted? Kind of like a tally of where we're at.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
so like adding a new box in here.
Yeah,
maybe
just say like,
extending it
right.
down.
Yeah, and just say like, you know, of the 51 measures,
Yeah.
these we have these of the tons of NOx, you know, already for sure, theoretically, we have, you know, reduced these, but,
Yeah.
you know, assuming based on modeling of, you know, how much money has been allocated, say, for example, for the strategies, PM 2.5. So I think that would be very helpful as well.
Okay. Yeah, let us put something together, and we could start off by showing it to you and maybe sharing, make sure that we get what you're thinking.
Cool. Thank you.
Then we do have
Thanks
a,
for the suggestion, Gus.
Bianca has a comment in the chat, compare from years before emission till now.
Okay.
Would you like to elaborate, Bianca, or is that okay, just reading your comments?
Okay, good, great. I love the suggestions. Love the ideas.
All right, I just wanted to give all of the Spanish speakers a chance to ask any questions. Oh, Delty, go ahead.
No, we can go to the Spanish speakers first.
Okay, so just anyone who needs interpretation, do you all have any questions? So we'll give you a minute or so. While we wait, we can all take a little stretch break.
Fermín,
Heather's on
iba a tener una pregunta porque ahorita no está a modo silencio. ¿Tenía pregunta o comentario? Fermín.
¿Cómo?
Okay, maybe not. Thank you.
Of course, thank you for catching that. All right, Delty, it seems like we don't have any questions, so go ahead.
Yeah, hello, everyone. I just wanted to put a plug in for the process that's happening right now, Bianca, and speak to your comments as well. We at CARB, we're always open to hear from community members about any aspect of the 617 program. So always feel free that you can reach out to us. However, efforts like this, where we have the district coming to you all with the draft report and supporting conversation and dialogue are really like even a better chance for you to have your influence made. And also just want to put a plug in for our facilitators tonight and the really helpful and constructive process you all are managing tonight. Finally, Bianca and everyone really on the pesticides notification, that is a commitment that both CARB and the Air District have made, and we do continue to work together on that. We are not giving up. We also within Cali PA work very closely with DPR to continue to try to make progress in that space. So just wanted to signal that it is really a joint commitment that we take very seriously along with the Air District. Thank you.
Thank you, Del D. With that, if there are no more questions on this item, we will move on to the standing updates. And I believe the measure tracker review is for Ryan again. Is that correct?
Oh, Jessica, I see you're trying to give me another one, but I think Heather's, we'll break this up. I think Heather's gonna take this one.
Yes, lots to share. Hello, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I am sorry it's so yucky outside. We hope it'll get better by tomorrow. End of tomorrow. So big news. Well, big news for me. I got to go to your community last week and it was the highlight of my week. I should have told you all I was coming and stopped to visit, but we had business to tend to. And that's what I'm going to tell you about. First, I want to thank the ladies that were able to jump on the call that I think Friday afternoon. I know Annabelle was there. I was in her backyard and we got some feedback on our materials for the Shafter Lawnmower event. And that is really what I want to tell you about. It is set. We knew that last month, but we actually have materials. I'm going to show you. And what I'd like to know, and I figure you'll agree, if I send each one of you, all of you that live in the community, mind you, share, not CARB folks, but CARB folks could share them too. Can you see the flyer? Yes? Okay, cool. This is the event flyer. What I'd like to do is print probably 30 of them or more if you tell me you need more. And I'll send them to you. I'll get them to all of you, every single one of you, so that you can hand them to your neighbors, share them at your work, you name it, wherever you see fit, ask for more. I do think that the boots on the ground, the word of mouth, you guys delivering this information is very valuable. When we were in Shafter last week at Floyd's General Store getting things kind of coordinated, we talked to a few customers even that day. It was so exciting to be able to interact with Shafter residents directly from a sheer point of not having been out in the world in a long time, number one, and number two, we've been working with you for a long time. And so it really was awesome to be in the midst in your community. And a couple of questions, first questions back at us were like, is this too good to be true? Are you really giving away a free mower? So it was nice to get that feedback, but so it underscores the point that if you hand it to them and can tell them about the process and reinforce this is absolutely a great program and why we're doing it, that might be useful. We have lots of different measures, I should say measures, that's a Serp word. We have lots of different strategies in place, including all the great ideas that came from you guys. Jamie was actually in your community on Saturday. And so I kind of teased her and sent her a text and said, guess where I am? And she was jealous, but then she made it down on Saturday and was actually able to start taping, I think, a few flyers up in the community. That was like the first inkling of information getting out in the community, but definite interest. So we're very encouraged by that, and we'll get all those old lawnmowers traded out in your community. And so November 7th is the date. And the key though, this is the part I want to stress, and we think this will be useful to both the committee, us in general, and as we prepare specifically for the event, we really would like RSVPs. And by that we mean we've created a generic website. We will also take phone calls, so it can be done either way. If somebody does not have the means to get on a computer or a cell phone or something, and they can call us and we'll fill out the inquiry form. But the website takes you, it's on that flyer here, I can zoom in. it takes you to a survey. This website right here, valleyair.org/free mower. It takes you to a survey that will collect basic information for that resident, remind them that they have to live in the boundary, provide an access to check their address in the boundary right then and there. If they put in an address and they don't live in the boundary, they'll be told about the program that does apply to them, which is a smaller amount of rebate. But give us a sense of the interest so that we're, one, prepared that event day, and two, kind of know how far our outreach is getting. And so this is very exciting. I think I might actually really quickly stop sharing that one. And you certainly can ask questions. You do not have to wait for me to stop talking if you have any questions. But this is share screen. There. Can you see the inquiry form? So this is where it go, and we'll capture their basic information. They tell us they don't live in the boundary. It's actually going to tell them that they don't qualify, but there's this awesome other program that they can do. Same language translation available on this page as the other pages Ryan showed you, so we can turn this into Spanish. But again, if anybody has any issue with technology, they can certainly call the phone number on the flyer. And we're going to give out a lot of lawnmowers, nice ones too. They're steel mowers. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. And they're valued at about, I want to say $430. Couple questions folks asked us Saturday that you guys should know the answer to. Do you have to take the steel mower? No, the answer is the residents of Chapter have the ultimate decision making. They can choose to get whatever mower they would like. However, the caveat is, in order to have it covered and you just walk in and walk out, give in your old mower and take out a new electric mower, you've got to participate in our event. And so yes, it would be steel. There's absolutely endless options out there. You could apply, buy your mower, apply through the program, and turn in your lawnmower with us if you didn't want a steel mower. But I can guarantee you that it's a fantastic mower. It is a great option. It's a 19-inch deck, which is the standard width for how much lawn you can actually cut. And we chatted with the steel folks when we were in Chapter last week. They're probably going to set up a an area where they demo it. We'll have them put together, show people how to use it, how to put the battery in, just some basic understanding, because some people have never ever used an electric mower. Linda. I see your head. Sorry,
I was trying to find unmute. So I just had a couple questions,
Yes.
just for clarification in case we could ask. So you said that they're going to have like a demonstration. Is this company still coming?
Yes.
Or will the Air Board have a booth?
No, so here's how we're going to do it, so you guys understand. Part of the reason we want RSVPs ahead of time is we really don't want to run out. So what we intend to do is have a set amount of mowers on hand, in addition to however many RSVPs we got. So we'll take the RSVPs, plan for those, and then have additional mowers on hand. Steel will be there. They'll be able to answer questions. SA Recycling will be there. They're going to bring a big dumpster from Bakersfield. So that was sort of the original part of this request when chatting with Bianca months ago. Found that little bit of a barrier to get into Bakersfield to get rid of the old mower. So you basically can come to the event and do all of it there, including learn how to use your new mower. We haven't established if there's enough bodies, and maybe you guys could volunteer and help and fill in places that allows us the opportunity to spread our resources, but not sure yet if we can put them all together. That's a question that we're still vetting. Obviously, we're still a month out from the event, but we also really have an ask of you, if at all possible. What we'd like to do is provide, for example, at the tune-in tune-up events, if you've ever been to a district tune-in tune-up event, they provide free hot dogs and I think drinks and maybe chips or, just a snack, something that everybody loves food. I mean, I do. So we'd like to bring that concept to this event. It's not on the flyer, but word of mouth, it makes people happy. You show up, get free food, take home a free mower, learn about some programs. reduce your emission output. So if you guys have, Linda or Annabelle or whomever has a nonprofit group of some sort that we can get a little agreement with, and we'll, pay them to run a booth and serve food, let me know. That's something we'd like to add to this event to sort of, increase the excitement. We've also got Kiwi booked, the radio station in the area, to come out and do a live remote. So really just a great opportunity to celebrate AB 617 and, the work we're doing.
All right,
Can I-
Heather. Go ahead. Go ahead, Linda.
Sorry, I just had a few more questions.
Of course.
I was curious if there's so I see it online to fill out. So I'm just curious, is there going to be someone there to help translation or help folks fill it out? That was one question. And if it's going to be a computer there or if it's paper. The other thing was, what happens if you run out? That was another question, because we wouldn't want to discourage anyone. And then another question I had was, where did you guys put the flyers?
Oh, so I just launched it. So I'm literally tomorrow going to ship them to you guys. I think Jamie, I'll have to ask her. I didn't connect with her. I want to say she was headed to Apple Market and down to El Michoacan, the restaurant, and a couple of places, but we intend to go back and do everywhere. So including trying to break into the schools, probably give some to Angie for the, the center, all of the above, anywhere and everywhere. Really, there's no limit to how far we spread the word. Getting back to your questions. First question. We intend to do all of it for the customer, meaning we will collect their information. We will have bilingual representation. We will collect their information. We will basically process all the pieces. And our goal is that they really just have one piece of paper and 3 stations to go to. That's it. They come in, we connect with them. That's station 1. We establish that they live in the boundary. Station 2, they talk to the recycling, the dismantler, and they get that part of the form filled out because they go give them the old mower. And then 3, you go to our final station where we collect the last of them, make sure the form is done correctly, get you a copy if you need it, and hand over your electric mower. I make it sound simple. I mean, this is essentially what we planned through last week. It was a great day in Shafter, and so we've got a few more details to iron out. And then, of course, the question as to whether we run out of resources. That's part of why this URL, or sort of trying to get phone calls or RSVPs in general to get a sense of interest, recognizing somebody could fill out the form and still not show up. So we've got that at stake. We also intend to confirm with those people that do RSVP and pre-fill their app. So we've already saved some time there, got them ready, just kind of one less step maybe for that category. But if we do run out, 2 things can happen, I think, and certainly open to ideas for you guys. One, if it's surely a matter of we just don't physically have any mowers left, but we have lots of money left, we can make up IOUs. We could still take their old mower and coordinate with Steel, and maybe within the next week get them their new mower. We're definitely working through those contingency plans. The other issue that should be considered is when we get to what 300, I think, roughly, or let's say we were wildly successful and we're at the point of exhausting what we've committed in the Serp, then that's a whole different question that I'm going to punt to Ryan.
Linda,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
s-
that's,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's something that we've talked about, and not only with this committee, but all committees. And if we are in the fortunate position that we quickly burn through the funds for different measures, that we would bring it back and talk about that with the community steering committees and get additional feedback from them.
So obviously we're keeping a really close eye on that. That would be the best problem to have. I would love to have that problem, that there's enough interest and we're just rocking and rolling. People get it, word's out, they love the new mower, or love the concept. So I mean, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I could not get my husband to do an electric mower. I just couldn't. He was not interested. He did not believe in the technology. So I pulled the trigger and just did it. And I'll tell you what, he's amazed. It's quiet, it's far less dirty, it doesn't produce the crazy, weird plume of emissions, and it's quite nice. So just excited and hopeful that people are ready to embrace this technology. You guys have any more questions?
There
And
are
yes,
3
expect lots from
questions
me.
in the chat.
Oh, good.
The first one was, can I give a list to Marisela for the RSVP? And that's from Bianca.
Yes, Bianca, you can. We'll do that. We'll work with you and get the information plugged in. Absolutely.
Okay, and Angie Nelson, can you email the flyers so we can post on social media
Yes,
in
of course.
JPEG or PNG formats?
Yep, I can do that. And actually, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to do paid social as well. So I would love if you just mental note, tell me if you see it. Tell me if the ad comes across your screen. Thank you, Angie. I see the thumbs up. Yes to the question, Linda. We're going to put it in the chapter press. So here's the crazy thought I had. So we have all these plans. We're going to put it in the chapter press. We're going to flyer everywhere, send flyers home. A couple weeks on the radio station. What happens if we run out of mowers? And I'll be like, breaks. But that's, again, I hope to have that issue. We are going to tell the world in the next 3 weeks.
And then the last question was Linda asked if it would also be on the Nextdoor app. Okay.
Yes. Linda, you're so good. I have that email you sent me a few weeks back and a different one you sent me about 6 months ago. I am dialed in thanks to you.
Were we able to work with the city of Shafter on their weekly newsletter? Can they put it in that?
Yes, I think we've made headway on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Gus has his hand up as well.
Hi, Gus.
Hello, sorry, it took me a second there. Just a clarifying question. So the steel electric lawnmower that will be available there retails for say 430. How much is the voucher for that residents will be able to receive?
The good news is because we're doing this in a one-stop shop, one-day event, there is no voucher. They will literally just turn in their old mower and take home their new mower.
Got
There's
it.
no
Okay.
transaction.
Got it. Okay.
It's awesome. They don't. No money will need to change hands.
Perfect. And then in the flyer, I've seen the flyer, but I haven't read it to be frankly honest. And it's detailed on there that they take their old physical lawnmower and then could potentially take home a lawnmower.
Correct. And
Okay, okay, cool.
yes, and yeah, and the first question on or one of the first things on that inquiry form that you end up on if you were going to RSVP is, I understand I have to turn in an old mower to get the new electric mower. Yes, yes, and it is on the flyer, but good point to make sure it is abundantly clear.
No driving to Bakersfield, dropping off will be left there. Okay, cool, awesome, thank you. Can't wait to
Yes,
share that.
exactly. Cool. So as you can tell, I'm very excited about this.
Very excited. We love your energy, Heather, always. So I don't see any more questions in the chat. I don't see any more hands up. Let me just double check really quick. Okay, no more questions. So we will move on to our next standing updates, which is Ryan this time for the measure tracker. Is that correct, Ryan?
Actually, I stole his thunder. My big one for the measure tracker was that one. I don't think I'm going to pull it up on the screen tonight. There weren't huge, unless you would like me to, because it's just a lot to go through quickly. But I do want to, thanks for pointing that out. I do want to remind them that we're anxiously awaiting for the heavy duty and burn cleaner program plans. So that should be some areas we roll along in like mad very soon. Thank you, Jess.
Of course, thank you. And just to confirm, that's it for the measure tracker, is that correct? Okay, so then next we're going to review the air monitoring, and that's
Jessica, there's a question.
Oh, sorry.
From Linda.
Sorry, Heather. I just
all
couldn't
good.
go that fast.
Thank
It's
you.
my favorite form. I had a question since we're going to be coming up on cold weather. The wood burning or the replacement for the fireplaces, are we going to have something to promote kind of like the lawnmower thing? Was one question I had. Another, like, I think it's, I mean, this is so awesome. Our ag I'm sorry, low dust nut harvesters. I'm trying to find it. So we've gotten 20 out of the 25 pieces of equipment. And then the other one was the tractors. I think we're at 86 tractors out of 100. Are we as a group going to come together at some point to try and maybe move funding from things that aren't getting fun or aren't spending money and to put it into programs that are? And then I just wanted to briefly touch on urban greening. If I know Jessica's not here, but does anyone else have the update on the urban greening measure?
So yeah, a couple, those are fantastic questions, Linda, so
Yes.
thank you.
Always.
On the discussion of moving funds, I think that the main thing that we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get the project plans approved. A lot of the other measures, especially the measures focused at things related to like the lawnmowers or fireplaces, more of the resident-driven incentive measures. We're working on getting those project plans approved while working with the California Resources Board. I'm super hopeful. We've been working on the fireplace change out project plan for quite a while. There's been some discussions on kind of the way that the emissions are calculated that it's kind of holding that up a little bit, but we're hoping to work through those issues. Hopefully with enough time that hopefully some of these units can get installed in residences prior to well, early on in the season. So still very hopeful for that, and we definitely would work with the steering committee on how we could outreach once that program is approved, and what options are available to us to get that funding spent. On the last piece on the vegetative barriers and the urban greening. So a big part of that was the getting approval from our board to open up a program. We listened to the steering committee about the challenges with the match funding, and so we removed the requirement for the match funding. Now, if there are projects that what we're working on right now is what's called a request for proposal process, where people would submit projects, and then they could be able to kind of lock up projects and then have funding put towards those different projects. And so I'm talked with our grants department. They have a draft that they are working with. It's with their management team. So I'm hopeful that very soon we'll be able to bring that RFP to the chapter steering committee for input into that before that's released. But that's probably, I'm hopefully in the next month or two to schedule a time to have that discussion, either in a separate subcommittee or in the regularly scheduled community steering committee.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Thank you everyone for your questions. And now I am going to pass it on to Chai Tao for the air monitoring updates.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so like Ryan had mentioned earlier, there's only one location left. Everywhere else, we've already implemented all the air monitoring. So that location is at Mexican Colony, and we've been working with Kern County for quite some time, getting some traction onto it. But at this point, they are still awaiting to get approval for the electrical work at the park. That they're going to have a basketball court there, and we're just awaiting that. So in the meantime, and they have not been able to provide us a definitive timeline of when they think they will get the approval for that. And so we're really looking for any other location. If you know of anybody within that area that might have within their yard some good space that we could put that in, we'll definitely pay for the electricity, the ongoing cost of electricity, the electrical infrastructure, and all of that. I know Gus has been trying to find some locations for us as well, and really appreciate his help in looking for it. But we're still looking for another location, just in case if this work with Kern County is going to take a bit longer in getting the electrical infrastructure. So that's where we're at.
I think the only thing just to mention, and I think everybody knows this, if you step outside, with the extreme winds that we're seeing right now, we are seeing high levels of PM10, and it's definitely apparent on the air monitoring station, the PM10 air monitor that's in at the DMV office there, and we're expecting that to continue through tomorrow night. So. Just please be aware and take appropriate precautions.
Chai, I just want to follow up with you. Do residents and CSC members know where to send you information?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put my email address here.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll just wait so I can read that out just in case anybody is joining us by phone and does not have access to that chat. Okay, so that's chaytao.tao, that's CHAY.THAO@valleyair.org for anybody who does have suggestions. All right, thank you so much for that
Thank you.
presentation. And next we are going to the DPR update, and I believe that's Min Pham, and correct me if that is wrong.
Nope, that's right, that's me. So thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I think just two small updates for you. And thank you for Heather. I think she had already sent this out. Am I able to share screen? I'm going to throw this quick slide up. Let's see here. You guys able to see that save the date there? Yeah. So I think, yeah, so thank you. I think Heather had sent this out to everybody previously. We also sent it out via listserv. So what this is save the date for the statewide notification program that we're launching, the website there, and I'll also drop the website into the chat in a bit. We're scheduling for two events, November 2nd and November 3rd. I believe one is English with Spanish translation, and I believe the other one is Spanish with English translation, but you're welcome to join either one. If you hop onto the webpage that's on the flyer there, there is a section that says how to participate, and it'll give you some information on not only these events, but upcoming events as they become available. That webpage also will give you an overview of the whole notification system and what we're doing. I do encourage anybody that can make this to make it. The team there is soliciting essentially input from across the board, whether it's residents, stakeholders, growers, farmers, applicators, whatever it may be. They're looking for additional input on what type of notification you'd like to see, and how they'll gather that all together and kind of go from there. But I think these two sessions are meant to be a public webinar, kind of give you an overview on what they're looking at and solicit stakeholder engagement and just your concerns overall. So I'll go ahead and end that, and I'll drop the link into the chat. Yep, I think Heather beat me to it.
Is that the right one?
I think so. I think it's the same.
Here's the one on
Yeah.
your save the date.
Yeah, I think it's the same one. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, so if you have any questions regarding that specifically, check out the website. You're more than welcome to email me as well, and I can walk you through whatever I know. It's a couple different teams working on it, and my team's not specifically on that, so I'll give you what I know. What my team is doing is we're continuing with the 1-3D mitigation pilot, which is scheduled to go through the end of this year. So we're kind of trying to get in as many potential volunteers and participants as possible. So we're canvassing basically everybody right now to see if there's any availability for or willingness to participate in field studies. So, you know, my pitch here is, should you know of anybody that has about 2 to 5 acres willing to help us out and that's planning to do a fumigation anyways, hey, if you let us, we'll just set up some stuff around the edges and do some field monitoring. But the team is hard at work. I think we got a couple scheduled through the end of the year, but as you know, weather conditions, all these things change. So, you know, these applications can kind of come and go, but we want to secure as many as possible before the end of the year. And with that, that's all I have. So I can field questions. If not, please check out the webpage and see how you can participate in these webinars. I highly encourage it.
And just really quick, I do have a question. Where should they contact you if they need assistance?
I think everybody knows me by now, but I'll drop my email into the chat box as well.
Thank you so much for that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. I don't see anything. So
Just you're muted.
next we're going to, yes. We are going to Scott Wall from CARB.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Scott Wall with the California Air Resources Board. I just wanted to share that there will be a community air protection program update at the upcoming CARB board meeting on Thursday, October 28th at 4 p.m. Like all of our board meetings, this is a public meeting via Zoom with an opportunity to provide comments if you'd like. There will be a variety of topics discussed, such as program progress and lessons learned from the implementation of various aspects of the program. What's a bit interesting about this meeting is that the information will be shared by 2 different panels. The first panel will include invited representatives from the air districts and steering committees, as well as recipients of community air grants and supplemental environmental projects. And the second panel will feature CARB staff representing air toxics, our enforcement division, the Office of Community Air Protection, and other programs. And I think the diversity and variety of voices represented at this meeting will make for great conversation, and I'd encourage you to join us if you're interested. And I will also post in chat here the couple of notifications that went out from the California Air Resources Board about the upcoming public meeting. And that's the only update I have for you today.
Any questions on that? Okay, I did want to invite DPR again to talk about their listening session.
I guess that's me. Well, sorry, what listening session? I'm not completely sure I follow.
I believe that is what we were told that was going to happen.
And
I'm not.
just to note, that's the same item that Min was
Oh, okay.
just went over. Yeah,
We got
public webinar. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
all good.
Good,
Thank
because
you,
I was
Stephanie.
like, wait, was there something else that popped up? So sorry.
Perfect. No worries.
Always
Thank
keeping
you
you
so
on your
much.
toes, Ben.
All right, and at this time, I would like to invite any other agency updates. All right, I'm just scanning to see if anyone else has anything. Okay, and with that, we will move on to the next item, which is going to be wrap up and next steps. So let me share my screen. Okay, just had it on the right one. All right. Okay, give me a second. I had it on the right screen and then it tricked me. Thank you all for your patience. All right, our next agenda setting meeting is going to be Thursday, October 14th at 3 p.m. And that is via Zoom. And our next CSC meeting is 5 p.m. on Monday, November 8th via Zoom. I do want to remind everyone here that Harder and Company is going to be hosting the next meeting via our own Zoom account. So we will be updating the Zoom link. So as of November, everybody will be receiving a new Zoom link. You'll get multiple reminders from the Air District regarding this change. So I just, please, after November, don't use the old links. Otherwise you won't be able to join the meeting. Okay. All right, so let me stop sharing. And at this time, I would also like to invite everyone on here to see if you all have any ideas for the next meeting's topics. We'll just take a moment to pause and give people some time to think. Yes, Bianca, there will be an agenda setting meeting, and that is going to be on Monday, October. I'm sorry, let me double check that date. Because I believe I just told you all a different date.
Yes.
Let me double check. I want to make sure I give everyone the correct date.
I believe we're on Monday. We're usually a week out on the same day as our meeting. And it's either 3 or 4. I gotta check.
Yeah, I have the Monday the 18th at 3
Yes.
o'clock.
Yes, so do I.
Thank you, Amy. So that was incorrect, what I put in that slide. My apologies. It will be Monday, October 18th at 3 p.m. And the Air District has already sent out that invite with the link. And that will be the agenda setting meeting. Does anybody, thank you, Gabby, for throwing that in the chat. Does anybody have anything regarding the agenda that they want to put on next month? If not, we will move on to public comments. Okay, so public comments is now open. Oh, Linda, our next meeting is going to be on Monday, November 8th at 5 p.m. And we will provide the updated Zoom link from Harder and Company for everyone. Thank you, Gabby.
That's the day after our lawnmower event. Did I mention we have this awesome lawnmower event on Sunday, November 7th? Hopefully we have a big celebration on Monday, November 8th.
Hopefully we do.
Yes.
But that's a great event. Okay, so again, I want to invite the public to comments. You can raise your hands or you can type it in the chat. And again, I will give everybody some time to think, some time to figure out the technology.
We do not have comments on YouTube, Jessica, just to let you know.
Thank you, Heather. Okay, do the Spanish speakers need a little bit more time to get their comments interpreted? All right, it seems like we don't have any comments from the public today. So yeah, we have concluded our very first meeting with our new facilitators. So thank you everyone so much for participating. Thank you for being here. Thank you for for everything. We really look forward to continuing this journey with everyone here today. And I will pass it off to my team members to see if they have anything.
So the only thing that I will share is that, as promised, we are implementing an action item process. So we're taking notes as we go. And so I'm going to just share this screen with you, and I'll put these in the chat so they get recorded in Spanish. But as you all are sharing your comments, we are transforming them into action items, and we will be sending these to the air district to then keep track of on the website. So I will put these in the chat for you all, and please do expect us to have an update on the process for keeping track of action items moving forward. That is one of the new things that we will be implementing. Thank you all for your time and for spending this evening with us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Hey, Steph, your host, would you go ahead and press stop on? Thank you.